Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division with the tournament win here for the Summer Major Tournament in Golf Clash the game. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content for free. You can get the best guides on the market for tour and tournament play by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. Also, have in mind, my friends, that it would be very kind of you if you can hit thumbs up on this video. If we can get to 200 thumbs up, that would be amazing, and thank you for that. Follow the info box on the right hand side for the elevation and club distance adjustment combined with what ball and club type I do believe is going to be the best one to use. And as always in Master, we use whatever ball that would suit the situation, but I'm always going to think about, okay, is this a ball that many players have the possibility to use? Because some type of special balls are obviously not something that everyone is having, or at least not much of them. But we're gonna see a lot of drops here. You're gonna see drops on every par 3, and we're gonna see drops on both like on hole number 4 and 7, which we go for kind of close to green, and hole number 1 there is no drop, and then on the par 5s you will see eagles on all 3 of them. So plenty of stuff to look forward to. Be ready with your pen and paper, and let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, I'm going to give you 2 type of approaches. First, one which I would say require Apocalypse level 6 minimum, okay? And we're starting with the white ring by the bunker in maximum distance, using max topspin and 1 bar of side spin to the right. Adjustment is maximum distance plus 10. If you do adjust out from overpower, you push up to max. And then it's time to go max curl right and max overpower. You do rather want to hit great right than you do want to hit great left, because with a bad great left, you do risk getting this ball into the rough on the left hand side here. So we do play with very small margin on this approach, with this drive. But we're looking for a drive yardage for around 440 to 450 yards. From there, we're going to play a long iron to the pin. And here, first and foremost, we need to take a look, obviously, where is maximum distance, where is minimum distance, to try to judge the and then to get the correct adjustment. I would advise you to use the 1 bar left spin and then apply back spin based on what's needed with the bottom part of the white ring by the rough. You can also see that the ball guideline going through the hole, it's very important, as we will with this adjustment, adjust down into the bunker, so to stay away from having to push up anything after your adjustment, add spin so you have the ball guideline through the hole. This shot is going to be somewhere around medium distance plus 10 to maximum distance plus 10, depending on where you're gonna end up. And as I say, you know, it's gonna be somewhere in that range. It might not help that much, but the thing that I wanted to point out with that is that this is not a linear hole. Using yardage notes here is not going to be super reliable, as we can get the same yardage but to be a different distance to the pin every single time. And here it's obviously a judgment call where you want to go as to where you feel is going to be the best way to play according to your clubs and your ball. And now we're going to take a look at another approach here on hole number 1, which is more directed to Apocalypse 5 and 6. Second option on hole number 1, we're gonna play with as much top spin possible and 1 bar of right spin. Now we're gonna stretch out to a position so we see half of the red ring to be inside the bunker to the left. You can see that we're not entirely in max distance, but we're looking for the red ring falling down into the sand, half of it, with the ball guideline going approximately 1 ring from the bunker on the left hand side when being over the water. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, power 4 ball setting. So not power 3, even if we play with a power 3 ball, use a power 4. A tiniest click of overpower, as you can see that I'm just touching the bottom arrows with my ball. Also, don't forget to push up to max, as that is going to be needed. We do play with a small margin of error here, but a great ball left and a great ball right has been safe with this drive. And have in mind that this drive would be beneficial for those of you playing with an Apocalypse level 5 or level 6, which could struggle getting over the bunker with the more aggressive approach that we do play in option number 1. We are looking for a drive yardage around 410. Now, from 410, I'm going to play max top spin and 1 bar of left spin. Here I would say it's kind of crucial that you do have sniper level 10, as you do need all of its top spin. The red ring by the rough line, and I'm going to play medium distance minus 20. So medium distance minus 20 is what I'm gonna go for, and we're gonna, once again, we're gonna go for the rough bump. And in the end, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to hole number 1, it's going to be, no matter what approach you're choosing to play, it's going to be a difficult hole to get a consistent eagle on. Because once again, we're not playing a linear hole, so yardage nodes will help, but not in the extent that it could do otherwise. A perfect ball would have been pretty darn close though, but in the end we do hit great right, which is my nemesis playing with a sniper in on Master Tournament. So here you do have 2 options on hole number 1. For hole number 2, I'm going to attempt a rough bump, and there is multiple versions of the rough bump out there, but I do think this one is a very interesting one to continue with. I do have some thoughts about it that we're gonna have to think about in the end also. First and foremost, we are going to apply spin. Then we're gonna find the inner ring to be just by the top of the rough there. Ball guideline is gonna be just below the pin, so like at the left side of the cup. Maximum distance with a 15% over adjustment, power 3 ball setting. So no power 2 here. So power 3 ball setting is what we're gonna use with our adjustment. Trying to obviously hit perfect, and we're gonna see this ball bounce very nicely into the rough, roll up on the top of the hill here, and fall down towards the pin. The thing that I want you to have in mind here though, my friends, is that you can have different wind angles here, which could create a big problem for you. If you do have a wind angle that is pointing more towards northeast, which would make, we're gonna take it again here with the video, which would make you adjust, you know, from rough into the bunker, but up from the bunker again. That means that you're not gonna lose this, or like you're not gonna get the same distance by, you know, with your shot as we are looking to get. So in that case, if you do adjust or see that you do have a northeast wind angle in a clear way, that, you know, in this area here, you should see, okay, do I have to adjust up on the rough, or will I be able to stay into the bunker? And if you do adjust up on the rough, you do need to add 2 more decimals to your adjustment there. That's just something that you do need to do, otherwise you risk clipping the rough, and risk not clipping the rough. But otherwise, with any other type of shot here, with this type of wind angle that we're having here, we're gonna have no problem getting this one close, or, you know, in for a nice hole-in-one. Difficult, but we are exploring a lot of possibilities here, and there is plenty of drops with multiply methods, but no one yet that is, you know, so super consistent that we are looking for. For hole number 3, we're gonna play one of the tougher par 5s that we have had in Master Division in a while, and that combined with hole number 9 in this tournament are very difficult. Max top spin, 1 bar of left spin. I'm looking here to have half of the blue ring inside the rough to the left. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance plus 10. And once we have done that, we're going to apply both curl and overpower. Half a ball of curl to the left, using 3.5 rings overpower with Apocalypse level 7 and level 8. If you do play with Apocalypse level 6, I would recommend 5 rings of overpower, and when it comes to Apocalypse level 5, you go with absolute maximum overpower to be able to get to any type of distance that is needed. You can see that I play with a ball that is fairly new. That ball is called Megalodon. Megalodon, I love that word. And I think that's some type of shark or whale or something like that. Doesn't really matter though. It has power 5, wind 4. So if you do have any of those type of new balls, play with that one instead, as that will be very, very good for you to reduce the wind but also get the power 5. If you don't have that, you go with a power 5 wind 3 ball, which is going to be a stealth ball or relic ball, or there's plenty of those nowadays. Reef ball is also a possibility. Second shot, now we're going to go full blast. We're gonna try to go over the water and the rough, and obviously the drive decides if that's going to be a possibility, because we do have some headwind with the approach here. I'm not looking to get this ball to green, but I'm looking to get this ball as close to green possible, which will help me when it comes to playing the wedge. Now you can see that I'm not having a needle that is shaking, but that is because I'm not, this is a replay, then the replay is gonna be messed up from time to time. You can see here that I did go with curl. I want to play with 3/4 of a ball outside the adjustment ring to the right, but have in mind that if you do have to aim more left, like I like to see it like this. If you do add spin and you see the ball guideline, if the ball guideline is pointing just to an open fairway and you know, looking at the green area where we have the bunker on the right, rough on the left, if it's in between there, you only need to go with like half a ball to 3/4 of a ball. But if you do have the ball guideline pointing into the rough on the left, which is easy to have depending on where you're going to end up after your drive, then you need to go with 1 ball of curl to the right instead. Please have that in mind, but that is something you will have to decide yourself from time to time where you're gonna play that hole. Max plus 10 is what we're gonna do, and that is going to once again leave us up for a wedge. And the wedge there is not going to be super simple, but it's going to be, you know, something that you do need to focus on. My recommendation would be to use a side spin to align the ball guideline with the wind, and always have the first bounce on the green. Never use the fringe or the fairway on this hole, use the green. So in the end, align the ball guideline with the wind, and then you're gonna see yourself having a fault margin that's gonna be huge, that even great ball left and a great ball right is gonna go in. Nicely done to get the eagle here in hole number 3, and you're gonna see a lot of players struggling getting the eagle here consistently, because once again you need to play a very good drive to really work your another hole where we're gonna just bomb it. We're gonna bomb it on hole number 7 as well. Here I'm playing with a wind 0 power 5 ball and side spin 3. So the summer ball, snow globe ball, you know, any type of ball like that would be good. Add spin, and then we're going to go with the ball guideline to be 1 ring from the bunker there to the right. You can see on the tip of the ball guideline to use that as a reference. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance plus 10, and then we push up to max once we are done. The thing that we're going to do then is that we're going to go max overpower, max curl to the right, and try to hit perfect. Great left and great right will still be safe if you're not very, very unlucky with a great left. You can see here that I bounced and I just barely clipped the rough, which is a bit unfortunate, but I'm still gonna land up on the fairway for a wedge towards the pin. So when it comes to the spin here, because the spin here is the key to get correct, when we do have, and that we're actually gonna take a look at here in my notes, so we do get the correct spin adjustments for you all. While you're watching that one again, we're going to Master Division and then the hole number 4. So what do we do have here? We do have, with a 16 miles per hour, we go with 6 bars of topspin, 19 miles per hour, 3.5, 17.5 miles per hour should be around 4.8. Is what we're gonna do. Even though I'm using a little bit more here in this video, you should use those spin values I just gave you. Then obviously if you do have some type of in-between wind, that's what you're gonna go for. If you do use more or less, you might be safe still. The spin adjustment that I just gave you is an estimation to be able to get the ball into this area here every single time for a wedge. So the wedge here is very important that you do know what to do with your wedge. The beauty part with going a bit short on the fairway is that we're going to have more or less a straight tailwind towards the pin. And then I would really recommend to use as much side spin possible so you align the ball guideline with the wind as much as you can. From this range here, I'm going to play this one with a 1-to-1 adjustment, which is going to be an 18.8 ring adjustment with the Endbringer level 8. One thing I would advise you to do though is that I would like you to have the ball guideline going through the hole instead of having to the hole. And the reason for that is when we do adjust here, we're going to adjust from a higher to a lower point, so you do risk going short if you are not having the ball guideline through the hole. You can see we just creep that ball in on the right hand side. No matter what though, this is going to be a tough one as we do have some obstacles here, so the drive is everything. But if we do get the drive to the somewhat the green area, then it's going to be a must eagle here. And I do believe if we're going to have anything to do with winning the tournament, we do need to get an eagle on hole number 4. For hole number 5, we're going to play on the left hand side using the quarterback and a power 2 side spin 2 wind 5, which is an eagle ball, aurora ball, speedway ball. There's plenty of those as well. Add spin, blue ring by the rough line, second bounce into the green square that we do have, that is the dark one, with the ball guideline falling down towards the pin. Adjustment is going to be with a maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and we're trying to look for having a slight 1159 pull angle. That's at least what we're trying to have, and that's what we're gonna look to trying to replicate. The ball bounces very nicely on that fairway just above the rough, and it goes up the hill, falls down towards the pin for a very beautiful hole-in-one. This is a very tough par 3 as well, where the wind angle has a lot of effect on your shot, and that's why you can see yourself miss left, right, and also get the ball in the hole. So you need to really study, trying to replicate, and make sure that you do the same way all the time for the best possible chance for an hole-in-one on hole number 5. For hole number 5, we're going to go with a power slice, but here we're not going to try to go as far as possible, we're going to try to lay up. So we're going to use 1.5 bar backspin and 3 bars of left spin. Now we stretch out to max, looking for the ball guideline especially to be approximately 1 ring from the brown rough, if that makes sense. And then we're going to go max OP, max curl to the right, and go with a power slice. The ball then bounces nicely on the fairway, and we then get this ball to roll to around 365 yard mark. And that's what we're looking for, somewhere between 360 to 370 if we can choose, because then we're gonna have no issue reaching with our sniper. Now, we do have a sniper rough bump for the second shot, and now first and foremost, take a look a little bit where you are in club distance, and then we're going to play this one very close to maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. But I'm going to give you a little reference to work on here. First and foremost, we add, it's going to be somewhere between 1 to 1.5 bar side spin to the right with top spin that makes the ball guideline go approximately 1.5 to 2 green squares through the hole. And red ring by the rough, don't forget about that. Now when we're just before plus yardage, I would recommend you to play this one 86% slider and power 1 ball settings plus 10. In the end though, this is, we cannot really rely on, yardage on our drive, but we could be able to use the plus yardage in a great benefit for ourselves. But that's gonna take a little time and to dial in. So in the end though, with a perfect here, this ball would have been close. I'm not saying it would have been in, but it would have been close for an albatross. I do believe lay up like this with a wind ball, like a wind 5, a power 1 side spin 3 ball is going to be better than trying to go full blast with a power 5 ball, because the problem with the power 5 ball approach is that you sometimes is gonna get the distance enough and sometimes you're not gonna to. So I rather than go for an approach where all the time gonna have a shot, even though it might be a bit more difficult with the sniper than it will be with my short iron. For hole number 7, this is an absolute must eagle, and the reason is not really for the drive, the reason is more or less for the second shot that you're gonna see. Our plan here is to stretch out to absolute max. With Apocalypse 7 and 8, we're looking for the white ring to be by the bunker, and if having, in this case, Apocalypse level 6, I would go with half of the white ring inside the bunker. Apocalypse 5 won't reach over, so have that in mind. We go with max top spin, 1 bar of left spin. We do adjust for maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, power 5 ball, push up to max, and then it's time to go with max overpower. I'm using half a ball of curl. This is, in my opinion, a little bit too much of curl. So reduce the curl a little bit so we do get the ball a bit more up to the right hand side. But the only thing that we're looking for here, ladies and gentlemen, is to get somewhere in the rough or on the fairway. I honestly almost want to be into the rough than fairway for the wedge. And the reason is the massive funnel that we're having. But one thing again about the drive before we move on, if you do have a wind that is above 18 miles per hour, take off a little bit of overpower, because otherwise you could, with a bad wind angle, risk going into the water directly. So just to be on the safe side, take off a little bit of overpower so you are safe. Now look at this funnel here now. Isn't this just first and foremost ridiculous and also hilarious? I'm gonna play this funnel by using backspin and go on the green. I think that's going to be the best thing to do. So max backspin, max side spin to the right. If we are to left, look, it's like 5 to 10 rings wide funnel, if not even more, with the rough iron. And we have had players in the clans hitting good left and good right and great balls here and there, and it drops every single time. The only thing that you do need to do though is to get into the funnel, and then you just adjust a little bit according to what you think is going to be correct, or obviously what you know is going to be correct. And in the end though, you can see I hit a great ball and it's into the funnel, and roll this ball in for a nice eagle here on hole number 7. Once again, this is going to be an absolute must based on the massive funnel we do have there for the second shot. And it's going to be interesting to see actually if we can miss this at any point throughout the tournament. For the final of the par 3s, we're gonna play hole number 8 with a backspin shot using 7 bars of backspin and 1 bar of side spin to the right. And have in mind, I played with Apocalypse level 8, and I will give you a minor tweak with Apocalypse level 7 and 6 in just a bit. I want to have the yellow ring by the bunker and have the starting point to be just before plus 11. So just before plus 11, so it's gonna be in plus 10, but just before plus 11. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance plus 10 with a slight 1159 pull angle. Once that is done, we're just going to take our shot, and we're not going to over or under power. We're not going to go with any type of curl. We're just going to do our very best to try to hit perfect. The ball then is going to bounce on the fairway before the fringe and green, and you see gets up that slope that is kind of like a very forgiving spot, and it rolls down to the pin. This is the par 3 that I have been getting most success with, but obviously I do have Apocalypse level 8. So what do you do with Apocalypse level 6 and level 7? You have 6.9 backspin with those type of clubs. So the thing that you do there is, instead of starting just before plus 11, you start just above plus 9, which is going to be a slight little, difference in terms of setup, but it's going to be working. So just go with just above plus 9 into plus 10 when it comes to Apocalypse 6 and 7, and apply the same type of method that we do have here, and then you're gonna see yourself being very close or get this ball in for a nice hole-in-one. For hole number 9, we're going to attempt a power hook. Max top spin, half a bar of side spin to the right. Now we're looking for this position to be bullseye just by the rough line. So just before it clips away completely by the rough is going to be our spot every single time. And that goes for Apoc 6 and 5 and 7 as well, not just Apocalypse 8. The thing I would recommend though with Apocalypse level 8 is to maybe take off a smidge of curl if you do have a 10 mile per hour plus wind. I don't think it's gonna be an absolute must, so I think you will still be okay, but it could be good to have in your have in mind, because you do have a little bit of more curl with a POC 8 than you do have with a POC 7. This one here went very far, and for those of you that has been playing this already, can have in mind that playing the normal shot where you bounce over the rough and the sand in the middle does not give you the same type of distance. You maybe wonder why, because again it's two max OP shots, even though this one is a power hook. It's because coming into the right you get a different first bounce that gets you higher up and therefore gonna carry longer. So instead of having to struggle going max OP trying to hit perfect, I would strongly recommend this power hook to try to get into a range that's gonna be around 440 minimum, even though you have a lower level type of driver. And once again, a Megalodon ball is going to be the one that I will choose if I have it. Otherwise it goes equally well when it comes to a stealth ball or any other type of wind 3 power 5. Second shot, if we do get that far up, you're gonna see that we are, we have a lot of room here on this fairway. Now I'm basically playing this one for green. I'm not really looking for this one to be an albatross attempt, because getting this high up as 463 for the drive is not gonna be common. It's gonna be more or less drive yardage there many of the time. So in the end I play max plus 10 trying to aim for the pin, and now I do get into overpower, and I'm gonna have to apply the amount of range overpower needed. Also add a little bit of curl to the right just to make sure that that I do compensate enough for the wind. Very tough one to get to the green in general, but obviously the drive is everything here. If you do get a short drive or maybe clip the rough with your drive and roll out, then play on the right side of the tree, curl around and lay up for a wedge. So this one is, in my opinion, very tough to get one, but obviously helps with better clubs. But make sure that you do play the power hook, or that if you don't feel comfortable with that, you just go straight forward with your drive, and then you're gonna have to deal with whatever happens there. But once again, advise power hook. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master Division here for the Summer Major Tournament. Plenty of drops here. And I do believe that this is going to be a tournament where a minus 32 to 34 could potentially win this tournament, as it's very difficult to get any consistency with the drops so far. You never know what's going to happen throughout the week, of course, but this is going to be a playthrough that will help you immensely to get an advantage over your opponents, as looking at the brackets, scores are between minus 11 and minus 15. It's not really any, can we call it better, but lower than that, and that is definitely something that is a bit refreshing that we haven't had in a while in Master. But Southern Pines is tough. Obviously, I would say that I would not recommend you to play Master if you do have Apocalypse level 5. Apocalypse level 6 plus would be the club that I would go with to try to make sure that I am not out club, massively, even though it's a big difference with a POC 6 and a POC 7 and 8. In the end, make sure you get your package on patreon.com/golfclashtommyv, sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck in your Golf Clash game.